Hello everyone and welcome back to the Jet Podcast presented to you by IABI. My name is Iyad, and in the Jet Podcast, we interview charter brokers, aircraft sales brokers, operators, and we discuss with them business and private aviation. Our special guest for today is the sales director at FLYME, Rez. Rez, welcome to the Jet Podcast, brother. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Iyad.
Of course, man. Of course. I mean, first time we met in person, it was about a month ago.
That's correct.
And it's funny because when we met, we didn't know that we actually worked together for a while until we got to the WhatsApp messages.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Now I know who's Riz, that we actually, we worked it out. So, brother, so you've been in the private aviation, you've been in the brokerage side. So, and you have your own podcast. Can you please tell us more about how you can manage all of this and what are you doing?
I think, it's not easy to manage everything, to be very, very honest. But if you have passion for something, you really sort of make time and you learn to manage your time appropriately. So it doesn't affect your professional job. Mm-hmm. Neither does it affect your hobbies. Along with the podcast, I also go to the gym regularly. So
there you go.
Need to sort of make time for everything.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the podcast? The name,
Yes.
What do you guys discuss?
So the name is not very, I think special. Is just the Reza Naqvi podcast.
There you go.
Started 3 months ago. The idea came from, I think, a bit of frustration when I was doing brokerage. And we used to come across these very interesting requests. So the initial idea was to sit down and start sort of addressing the underlying issues or something in the brokerage side. But then I realized that it has to incorporate what I believe in. So there's a bit of fitness, there's philosophy, and of course, aviation. So I've sort of tried to incorporate all of that. And
you're actually covering everything that you belong to, which is aviation, fitness. Okay,
yes.
That's beautiful. And I want to know a little bit more about your experience. You were a broker, you were as well, now you're working operator,
Right.
The company you're working with.
It was actually quite funny. So I used to work in base oil prior to aviation. So when I was doing base oil, I used to come across diesel, EN 590, which is used for fuel. And that's where I started coming across Jet A1 fuel, on and off. So a lot of my African clients, they would ask me, be like, oh, you know what, Rez, do we have this? So I would sort of reach out to companies like UCIG and stuff like that to understand. That's when I started having a bit of exposure towards aviation.
Okay.
Then the same clients would sort of ask me charters, because they would fly within Africa. And so I would just sit down, Google is my best friend, have a look, be like, oh, okay, there's VistaJet, there's Afcon, there's JetX. They're like, oh, okay, there's various different, obviously, JetX is not an operator, but FBO network,
Of
brilliant,
course,
beautiful
huge
FBO. Yeah. So that's when I sort of started understanding and got tiny bits of exposure. 2023, 5 years later, I actually started working in aviation, and JetX was my first.
Look at that.
Yeah. So,
great start.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think as a FBO network, brilliant, beautiful. So did ground handling. That's where, from ground handling, I realized that you start developing taste for charters. Yeah. So
Yes,
brokerage started. I would love to give a shout out to Lilith, CEO of Voyex. She gave me a great chance. I was the first hire at Voyex.
Okay.
She began, So she showed a lot of trust in my ability. I was on board with her for almost a year. Then naturally, I learned so much. Another opportunity came along with Air Charter International, another huge, very old brokerage company. Like they compete with the types of Air Charter, what's the name? Chapman Freeborn, ACS, ACC. So they're on that level. And the champions in ACMI. Got the opportunity to work with them. And then finally, operator came along. They were like, Rez, we've done so much business together.
Flights.
Yeah, so my current employers, FLYME Aviation, and director sales over there.
Okay.
Because we did a lot of business over 18, 19 months. And yeah, it was one of those moments. It was an offer that you can't refuse. So,
There you go. And brother, it's all about relationship. This is the
Absolutely,
industry. It's
yes.
it's a very small industry. Everybody knows each other, and this is how you build rapport with with other operators. Okay,
we knew each other virtually
before
up until exactly
before we met.
Yes,
So
yes.
I love it. And so right now you're working with FLYME. What do you
Correct.
guys do? What kind of fleet you have?
We're operators. We operate wide-body aircraft, so
Nice.
passenger and cargo.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So a lot of the queries which we get are obviously, we don't do all types of cargo. Obviously, to an extent, we do DG. Now, DG could be electronics and stuff. So general DG cargo. That's what we look into. We don't do livestock.
Okay.
Because livestock destroys the aircraft. We can get it arranged, but we won't do it on our.
Livestock like animals, horses.
Horses is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Tell
like
me.
yeah, horses is fine. We've done horse queries and exotic animals and stuff like that. But livestock, the aircraft really takes a beating. So yeah, because the flights will end. But it's the after services. You have to clean the aircraft from within and stuff. And God forbid if it's damaged. So we try to avoid, not that we haven't done, but we don't prefer doing it. Livestock, yeah.
Right.
Because also I think the margins are quite low on livestock. But yes, exotic animals, oh, absolutely. We've done tons of flights.
Let me know, tell me more. What exotic animals you had?
Oh, we can't really tell the packing list.
Okay, no, not the packing list. But within limitation.
Yeah, let's say transporting endangered species to wildlife conserve. What's it called? Reserve. Sorry, conserve. Mm-hmm. Reserve. I've had a long day. To a wildlife reserve, and we are actually one of the preferred vendors for that. For that wildlife reserve. Done. So we move a lot of whatever requirement they have. They tell us we need to pick up the animals from X location, bring them down to yes, sir.
No, so that's the reputation as well that you build. Like we know with these clients, they're like, you know what, let's go with Riz. Let's go with, for example, with FLYME. They are absolutely. They provided good service before. They're reliable to do it.
Yes.
Okay, so the thing is, most of my guests on the podcast are in private jets and private aviation.
Yes.
I'm very I'm very excited about this episode together because we're going to be discussing bigger planes, bigger operation. So, what kind of challenging flight you had? Whether it's cargo, whether it's passengers, packs, like
obviously, every flight is equally challenging because you need to maintain the service at the top. So there's zero room for error,
of course.
Zero room for delays, zero room for any catering delays, zero room for fueling delays, nothing. So everything has to be very, very streamlined. It gets challenging where, unfortunately, one time, last moment, we didn't have our aircraft. We had somebody else's aircraft because ours was AOG. So we reached out to somebody and we got the aircraft. But last moment, after everything was signed, the prices were changed. Because obviously we were going to a slightly difficult location and fuel is expensive over there. So that became a bit of a challenge because last moment, so it's a tiny hiccup from ops. Like obviously when you give out the price, you have to sort of calculate everything and that's when you give out the price. But that was one tiny unfortunate event, I can say. But other than that, I think operationally, we're very competent. The only challenges we face is from the clients.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the clients sometimes might have special last moment changes. They can have particular requests for food and stuff. So menu. Sometimes they can have some requirement to stay on the ground slightly longer than expected. So then crew duty hours and everything sort of comes into play. Right. And that's when we have to, our crew is amazing and very flexible.
Okay.
Yeah. So we make sure that if we are supposed to sort of stay an hour, 2 hours extra, we'll make sure that they're well taken care of, everything. So yeah, it's just, I think it's part and parcel of the business.
Sure.
So yeah,
some clients actually, you're right, they don't understand the concept behind duty time. They don't understand the concept that the airport closure, this airport closes at this time, the airport that you're going to is going to close.
Yes.
So what, we're going to divert and land somewhere else. It's inconvenient for you. The price is going to be different. It's just, yeah, and you just got to educate them.
This happened with me on, still remember, it was my, I think, second flight. And clients flew. Back then I was doing a lot more private jets. So clients flew from Chambéry and they were supposed to go to London, but they went to Stansted instead because of the unfavorable winds. Okay. So God bless those clients. They're still my clients. They took it really well. They were informed by the crew that we have to divert.
Okay.
I, on my side, arranged a car for them from Stansted back to London. However, the person who was representing them over here, they lost it. They were like, oh my goodness, how can this happen? And I was like, safety comes first. We can't really land because the weather is not allowing.
Right.
And it's a PC-24. Okay. So it's not going to, it's a PC-24, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, no, we can't really land that aircraft in this unfavorable winds. So we thought the end client might be really angry, but they were totally fine. But sometimes it's the rep who's sort of, they're doing their job a bit too well. And you have to respect it, I guess. They have to follow their instructions, I would say.
I actually have a similar story. But it was dramatic, brother. It was dramatic. So the plane was in Houston. Mm-hmm. We need to reposition to Aspen.
Right.
And once we were positioned to Aspen, we're going to pick up the clients from there and we're going to fly to Paris. So, and we had an augmented crew because it's a long flight. Mm-hmm. And while flying to Aspen, the winds start screwing up. We had to land in Denver.
Right.
Denver, I think it was like 3 hours drive or something. Mm-hmm. And the client refused. We were waiting on the clients and then we ran out of duty. We had to overnight in Denver. Mm-hmm. Next day, repo from Denver to Aspen, pick up the client and go to Paris.
Right.
And it's just, we make it happen. Mm-hmm. We make things happen.
We're solution providers at the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
We make it happen. But during that time with the stress, like trying to explain to the broker, so the broker explained to the client that there is only 13 hours of duty time because it's augmented crew. And please, but we made it happen. Interesting thing, like, how different is the cargo and the airline side in AOG situations than private jets in general?
Well, it happened with another carrier, not with us actually, but it was another large carrier. And they had an AOG situation and they were moving cars. So they reached out to us and we said, yeah, sure. Aircraft is available. Coincidentally, we had the aircraft.
Yeah, it's like a cargo aircraft. Like it's not a
not always sitting
or a
around.
G4 sitting somewhere,
Correct. So these bigger assets, they're not always just sitting around because obviously if it's on the ground, it's a hole in the pocket. So we try to make sure that, they're always somewhere or the other on some missions. So coincidentally, it was there and it had just finished a contract. So it was just there. These operators, they reach out, they go like, Reza, and they go like, yeah, we've just noticed you join FLYME and, is your aircraft available? I said, give me a second, let me check. Yes, our 747 was available and we managed to transfer the cars from there to here and it was all happening in Sharjah. So that was even better because we didn't have to, it helped us support the operator better instead of repositioning to DWC, where if we land, then again there's obviously
expenses.
There's expenses. So we just managed to take over the cargo from them, and it was very straightforward. We ourselves haven't faced an AOG situation as yet since I have joined them or since I have actually known them. It happened once very long ago. That it happened in Africa, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, no.
And yes, I think something went wrong with the flap. And so it had to be flown in from Dubai. And that was long ago. But other than that, I haven't faced any AOG situation. And that too, it was delayed. It was delayed by, I think, 7 or 8 hours. So the thing was, because on that airport, they didn't have some sort of a high loader, so they couldn't reach into the wing. Yeah. And that's what was taking time. So
Okay.
sometimes you come across very strange challenges.
100%.
Yeah, but then they managed to do something somehow. And yeah, but with a huge delay.
That's what's scary about operations and when you choose where to go in terms of flight. I always tell the guys, like, when you're doing sales, you're actually you're a risk manager. You go to Africa and something like that happen. How are you going to get aircraft? How are you going to get parts? How are you going to find certified maintenance or mechanics?
Something very simple. Recently, we did a flight to all the way in West Africa. And the first question, what I asked, I got in touch with the handlers on ground and I was like, guys, do we have a high loader? We need to be sure of this. One of the handlers said yes. I double checked with another one.
Oh, no.
Like, is it there? They said, yes, it is. No problem. And we do this type of cargo all the time. I said, brilliant. So no problem. However, while I was doing brokerage in my previous company, we received a request to Thailand. Now, I'm forgetting which airport. Was it Bangkok or was it the other one? It's like a 20-minute, 30-minute difference.
Okay.
Yeah. The client, now see, this is the new age client. They're very educated or aware themselves.
Right.
The client asks me, he's like, Rez, is there a high loader available on that airport? Because my grandmother, she's on a wheelchair and we will require it. I asked the operator, I go like, yes. Can you check with the ops team? Yes, it's available.
Of course, it's yes.
The sales guy, he was like so on it. He's like, yes, it's available. I was like, can you please double?
For me.
Yeah. Then he says, yes, it's available. I was like, can I please have it in writing? Show me an email. The email comes back. No, we don't. We lost the flight. Unfortunately,
wow.
I had to. And then that's how do you call risk management? Now I have to go back to the client and tell him that, oh yeah, by the way, you were correct. Yeah. So that was a unfortunate experience. They said, no, it's okay. We're aware. That's why we were asking, because if they have it, then they went to some other place instead of Thailand. They ended up in, I think, Singapore or somewhere. They changed the entire plan, changed the dates.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it affected my target for the month. You get,
of course. So, and it's funny. They say yes, like we are a delicate situation. So imagine the client actually went there and there wasn't one.
Yeah.
How are you gonna deal with that situation? You know.
And it becomes a bit unfortunate that I understand people are hustling and they're trying their best. It's great. Hey, respect, you know, but please have the right information. What I feel, what happens is a lot of the brokers, they'll oversell.
Right.
And then when they go to ops goes like, yeah, no, this is not possible. Exactly. And this happened with another flight. There's one difficult airport, Paro, Bhutan.
Okay.
Yes, some broker told the client that, oh yes, they can land some huge aircraft over there. And I was like, no,
how?
first you need to pick up a navigator who can so you're going to stop in India or somewhere, pick up the navigator, and then you're going to fly to Bhutan. You can't just go there. You need even the pilots, they need to have some
certain training.
Yeah, certain training. I was like, no, this is not going to happen. And like, no, but we've done it before. I was like, so whoever you've done it with, kindly please just do it with them, because I'm not going to because the moment we get involved, there's responsibility on us. And I wouldn't be liable, God forbid, something
of course
wrong happens. So I try my best to not provide any extra information. So you need to know how much to speak, when to speak, where to speak, who to speak to.
And validate the information that you have, even double check, just to give the set right expectations and avoid any inconvenience, you know?
I had another gentleman who once told me that they want to fly from DWC to Los Angeles direct. And some broker sold them a 737. I was like, yeah, this flight is not happening direct. Do you even know how long it can fly? And they go like, yes. I was like, how long? They go like, yeah, so many hours. I was like, no.
To Los Angeles as well. Like, it's,
like to the
West Coast, like
all the way. And I was like, who told you this? And then they obviously mentioned the person. And I was like, wow. And these people, it's actually very interesting that there's many people who've been around for time apparently, but it becomes slightly surprising to see that they give out misinformation sometimes. I'm like, well, whatever rocks their boat, I suppose.
Going back to the where you said that the clients are actually now are informed. Yeah,
Yes.
like if even AOG situations, like in private jets,
Yeah,
the clients they fly private. This is not their first AOG,
correct.
but they've seen how other brokers reacted and how you reacted. Were you proactive? Were you transparent?
Yes.
Were you on it, or were you sleeping? So they're familiar with it. So Riz, from your experience, I would like to have I would like you to give me two things or three things
Right.
that you learned in this industry you think other brokers don't know and must know about it.
I think I've learned many things on the go. One of the most important I feel is operational competency. You need to know the aircraft capacity. You need to know airport abilities. Before you're selling the product, it's just as simple in sales that you need to know the product before you sell it.
100%.
So, what is the product of a broker? Is the flight. Flight includes two aspects: aircraft, destination. You need to know about both. So, you need to know the aircraft. Will it make the flight? You need to know the destination. Does it have a VIP airport? Is it even some airports? Do they even have a CIQ? Are they an entry point? Something like that. So
Customs.
yes, exactly. So many people, unfortunately, this is what I noticed. A lot of the brokers, they don't know basics. This might cause a few, I don't know, ruffled feathers, but it is what it is. Many people they lack the operational competency, which I think helps. If you know it, it'll help. Same thing with cargo. When we have many people sell the cargo aircraft, they think that on a small, just because it's a cargo aircraft, they can fit anything inside. You need to know the door. If stuff will go through that door.
Coffin, whatever. Like
Yeah, coffins are small. That's fine.
yeah,
But
for you, it's small.
Yeah, but sometimes they'll have like huge pallet, like above 3 meters or something, and they're selling it on 737. The door can only be 172, 178. Maybe you can stretch it to 180 if you repack it and stuff. But you know, even the weight for that matter. If a cargo aircraft says 100 tons, unless it's just clothes or something, maybe we'll carry 100 tons. But if it's different sized cargo, the net you will carry will be maybe 98, maybe 97, maybe 94 tons, because the pallets are going to weigh. Everything has weight.
Of course.
Correct? So these small things you need to know. So for example, 20-ton aircraft is never carrying 20 tons. It's carrying 19, 18.5, something like that.
Okay.
Not that they don't carry full capacity. Yes, they do. But the moment they carry full capacity, they might not be able to fly as long as it can.
Of course.
Yes. So again, operational competency. So these small things they need to know. Another thing I learned is transparency. The more transparent you are, the better for you. You'd rather lose business by being truthful than
lose reputation.
Exactly. So you'd rather not do that. There has been moments when I've said that, yes, unfortunately, this might not be possible because you want to do this is on the budget. It doesn't make sense. No, but we've done it before. Please go back to the person you did it with. No problem at all. So I don't get into those bidding wars at all. Right. If the moment somebody tells me that, oh, but there is somebody, by all means, please go right ahead. No problem whatsoever. But yes, where I know that I can be competitive, I am super competitive. Another thing I learned that the aviation community the industry is huge. The community is very small. So everybody sort of knows everybody. And it's actually quite beautiful because people sort of move from one company to the other, and they've got great growth trajectories. So, and many of them, they haven't burned the bridges with the older companies. So it's a beautiful sort of ecosystem. However, as I said, it's an ecosystem. So you have the plus and the minus.
True.
That's what sort of creates the balance. If you don't have the minus, people won't really value the plus. So
There you go.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Very well said. So you were talking about the capacity and things like that. In private aviation, we need to know how many passengers. We need
Correct.
to know the luggage. We need to know
Thank you.
the passengers, how many passengers route. In cargo, what kind of questions a cargo broker should ask? Or no, I know there's packing list.
Yes, straight up. First thing, it helps vet out so many things. They go like packing list. Oh, but the cargo is not yet ready. Okay, they must have sent something before. If it's general cargo, just send me the old packing list.
Okay.
So that gives me clarity.
And what does the packing list include?
Packing list is just the list of all the items, itemized. It's an itemized list of whatever is being loaded on, because it's not for us, it's for Donata or somebody, because they need to see what's getting loaded on, right?
Of course.
So the packing list, then based on the packing list, then the airway bills are generated. So it's just process. It's simple as that. It's process. Sometimes if you don't have the packing list, that's fine. We understand. So then we ask them basics, like for example, what price indication do we have? That in itself clarifies a lot of things. So we are an ad hoc airline, all right? So non-scheduled. We do charters. Many times what brokers think is that the budget is correct in their mind, but it's a one-way budget.
Right. But we're not one way. I have to go repo back or something.
Exactly. So I might take something from A to B. Now at B, I'm coming back empty. Who's paying for that?
Somebody has to pay for it.
Exactly.
Not me.
So some clients are smart that way. So they've tied both the knots.
Interesting. So they find cargo from other places.
Correct. So for example, Africa is a prime example. So general cargo goes to Africa. Perishables come out of Africa.
Wow.
We have clients who do that. We work with them regularly. So
well done.
They take general cargo. Now here is the funny part. So general cargo is going around 19 tons. Great. On a 737. Brilliant. It lands in the destination. Now we're bringing back perishables. So perishables are slightly packed a little bit differently because it's temperature controlled. So the ULD, the thing which holds the meat or the vegetables and stuff, itself has weight.
Right.
It's around 500, 300 kgs. So you're losing weight. You get it?
Oh, yeah. So, because you have the item, the meats or whatever itself, and then you have the packing and packaging ice and stuff.
So general cargo goes on pallets, not so heavy. Pallets are those wooden pallets. So yeah, they're not very heavy, but ULDs are super heavy.
Wow.
So you lose,
Very interesting.
So you need to sort of understand these small things.
Actually, it's very interesting as well. So when you're talking like they tie the knots on both sides, this is actually what we do as well on the broker and private aviation. So I want to get the client a very good price. He needs New York, London, and everybody's charging me round trip. Try to find another broker that is looking from Europe to US, where, we'll collaborate together on this trip.
Yes.
And there you go. Just give me the round trip. I'll figure out. Sometimes we actually make more money that way, and we provide even a better cost for the client. But it's about being smart, navigate the industry.
You need to know who to work with.
Right.
Unfortunately, you can't work with everybody, but then I think that's business. That's everywhere. People like to work with people. I have a lot of respect with people who have worked with me for the first time without knowing anything, but just because how I think I communicated with them, I guess.
Okay.
They really enjoyed it. And alhamdulillah.
God bless.
Yeah. Like I always say, God has been really kind to me. Like I've been blessed more than I deserve sometimes. So, yeah.
God bless, brother. So, okay. Can you share a stressful situation that you were in? Like, I know you're going to tell me your life story right now because our life is all stressful.
Yes.
But a stressful situation and what's the decision that you made and the impact of it?
Now, this is very interesting. So, two such situations. We can say that one was one of my very good clients. So I do multiple things for them. So I do their crew transfer, I do their cargo, and for the board of directors, we had the main flight, which there was zero room for delay or something. Because this is like this is not just management. These guys are at a different level. So I asked the operator very nicely. I go like, guys, please no delays. Okay, we can mess up any flight. Any flight, not this one. They're like, no, Razan, no.
Of course not, Reza. We're not gonna.
Of course not. Anyways, God bless the operator as well. So we arrive, everything's on time. Clients walk out of the FBO. Captain comes to the immigration to receive them. We're thinking everything is going great. They walk out. 30 seconds later, they all start walking back in, and I'm like, oh no.
Not looking good.
No. And you can see the frowns on their faces, and I'm like, oh no.
No.
The moment they walk in, my CEO calls. I'm like, oh, this is not
escalated
good.
Escalated quickly.
Yeah. And I'm calling the operator. I was like, hey, what happened? What happened? He doesn't know what happened. I'm like, can you call and check with somebody inside what happened? So at the end of the day, I understand it's the captain's call. So the captain wanted to do a background check on one of the, passengers.
Fair.
Which is fair. It's fine. But we provided them. Now, this is where it was inconvenient. Mm-hmm. We've provided all the information.
A long time ago.
Yes, we are giving the permits. We are arranging the permits. Everything is done for. And the captain has his, I would say, tantrum, or I don't know, he wanted to show authority or whatever. It's okay.
Something.
But that became a stressful situation for us.
Right.
Instead of a 10-minute delay, 1 hour delay. And it was literally, it got to the point where they were starting to get up and they were like, bring our luggage back and we're canceling the flight. It came to that point, and literally, so my boss called. And he's like, Reza, what's happening? And I was like, I'm trying to, and now I'm over there. So what I'm doing is I'm going up to everybody. I'm trying to, pacify the situation. I go like, yeah, unfortunately, I'm trying to educate them on the go that, yes, I understand it's just security protocol, captain, he has the last say, etc., etc. So they're sort of understanding in bits and pieces.
He's the PIC.
Yeah. So we're I'm making progress, steady progress. Boss calls you like, Raza, they're about to cancel the flight. And I'm looking across at the, the captain to sort of come back. And as soon as he walks out of the aircraft, I'm like, oh, yes, I think the flight is a go. I'm like, yeah, the flight is a go. Like, and we're so close to canceling. So that was very stressful. Unfortunately, it shouldn't have happened. It could have been managed so much better from the operator's perspective. But hey, I think that's fine. We managed it really well. We got great feedback on that. They're like, because you had this is what makes a very big difference. If you have a rep seeing off the clients, huge difference. God forbid there's a delay. You have a representative there present who can sort of manage. Because then they know that, okay, fine.
They're not just like abandoned by themselves at the airport. There's somebody there supporting,
God forbid if there was nobody there, I'm quite sure that they would have, because nobody would have explained to them properly. They would have just been like, yeah, let's take everything, cancel the flight, we're done. And we don't want to, and they were like, yeah, we don't want to work with this operator again. We're like, cool.
No problem.
No problem. So that happens.
Yeah. Also, like, you don't want to go through cancellations with your client.
Yeah. It's not nice.
And this just uncomfortable situation where, are you going to refund me? Oh, but you're at 100 cancellation. But you guys delayed the aircraft.
Another stressful one which happened was, so we arranged a flight for one of our clients to a slightly difficult location. So even though they had their own aircrafts, but because they were unregistered, they couldn't fly to certain places. So we arranged it for them. Now, even the aircraft could not be based over there. So it went, dropped them, came back, stayed in Turkey, went back, picked them up. When it went back to pick them up, AOG.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's the worst.
And then we were like, oh, what to do now? So then we spoke to the operator. We're like, okay, fine, cool. We've paid so much. So, we're expecting this much of a refund because this is how much it would cost. This is where you need to know ops and pricing. You need to know cost per hour. And so this gives you a big upper hand. That's why a lot of the operators, private jet operators, didn't really sort of like negotiating, because once you know the operational cost, you can really push them.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, okay, so this is what should be the refund. And they're like, oh, okay, we need to get back to you. So yeah, please do. But then they were supportive enough. So, but the client was also very supportive. They did not even ask for a refund.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then first I got the refund released from the operator. And then from the refund, we arranged transport to the nearest airport. And then we got another operator for them to bring them back to Dubai. So we arranged the, what do you call, transport. And then they paid for the other charter. And then from the first charter, we gave them almost $64,000.
Okay. That was what, like 50% of the flight, or
No,
40,
the
30?
flight was around 300 something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but because there's double rotation and this and that, so
Of
yeah.
course. I mean, they had to come back empty.
And also because there was war risk insurance, right? So everything just sort of doubled up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I have a question for you. So, how do private jet brokers build trust, whether with their clients or whether with the operators they're working with? How would you recommend it?
To private jet brokers to develop relationships, they need to have relationships on both ends. With the supplier, that means the operator. Make sure that you're on good terms with the operator. You send them legit queries. That's when
We'll go to that after this.
Yeah.
But yes, go ahead.
So send them legit queries where they can actually take you seriously, because it'll take. See, the operator. Let's be very honest. The operator isn't dying for brokers. They already have too much business.
True.
Okay. So the moment I come out of the blue and I go like, yes, Iyad, I need to fly from A to B. You're like, okay, Rez, sure. Is there a budget? You're like, yeah, this. You're like, okay. So one time you might entertain me. If I come to you the second time with a silly query,
Not responding,
you will not even respond.
of course.
Or out of courtesy, you might say,
Yeah, but-
aircraft not available.
Right. Yeah.
So to brokers, I would like to say that develop good relations with the operator. Go meet them if you're in the same city or country. Go make yourself visible, because at the end of the day, people work with people.
100%.
So go make yourself visible. Talk to them. Sit down with them. If you, as a company, if not you just as a single broker, if as a company you're representing a brokerage, go sit down, talk to the operator that we'll try to give you X, we'll try to push all the business towards you, give us better prices. And that happens, you can be a preferred broker for the operator.
100%, man. Yeah.
So you need to develop those relations. So this is one side. With the supplier, you have great relation with the supplier. Now comes
Client.
your client itself, the end user. With the end user, never oversell. I would rather undercommit and overperform.
100%. Under promise, over deliver as well. Similar.
Permits. Yeah, it'll take 3 days. I know operations will get them in 12, 16 hours, whatever. But yeah, it'll take 3 days. Okay, they're mentally, you've given them a buffer.
Prepared.
Mentally, they're prepared. You show up, we're like, yeah, permits have arrived, aircraft is ready. If you want to do the flight slightly earlier, we might also be able to do that.
Well done.
However, so you always just under promise, know the actual and the factual stuff, but always under promise and then overperform. They go like, oh, wow, amazing. Thank you so much.
Well done.
So
Well
that's you giving yourself a buffer. God forbid something happens.
right.
It's like me just coming early to avoid traffic.
Yeah. 100.
It's that simple. That's how simple the logic is. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you know. Make sure, like for example, with the client, be transparent. Tell them, give them all the information. Ask them. The more you ask, the more you know, the more you grow. But don't be pushy.
Yeah.
Ask them in the most sensible manner that if they want to fly, what is the reason of the flight?
Now you have a background of it, like how
Yeah.
serious or how time sensitive.
Yes. Ask them. Be polite. You don't have to be like, oh no, you can't tell the client. No. But you can, through smart questions, they will understand that, okay, charter might be too expensive for us, or it's not really required, or okay, fine, these are the documentations we might have. Okay, we need to move a dog with us on board. Oh, it's going to cost deep cleaning. There will be extra charges. We want to smoke. There might be. So you need to ask before the client. So I used to have like a checklist. Like a query comes in, great. Is there any luggage? Cool. Can I see the pictures of the luggage? Okay, great. So this is not going to instantly. I know the moment they
It's
tell
not
me
gonna
this
fit a
luggage.
Hawker 800, bro.
Boom, there we go. So as soon as you know that, okay, this luggage, no, sorry, then I know which aircraft to source for them.
Right.
So as a broker, so I
course.
need to know which aircraft to source for them, and then just simple questions like, oh, would you like to smoke on board, or is there something? So then now in my mind, I'm already shortlisting who to reach out to.
Yeah, right.
Right?
So you're filtering the operators that are going to be reaching out.
Correct.
Okay.
And then if they have any pets, or if there's what about internet, like, yeah, okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, brilliant, done. Basic question, just ask them.
Wow.
And some brokers, again, they I don't know how to say, is it ignorance, or I think it is a bit of ignorance, that they think all aircrafts have internet. It's actually true. It's actually true. I said that to a broker once. I was like, yeah, bro, there's no internet. He's like, what do you mean? I was like,
What do you
there's
mean?
no
What do
internet.
you mean?
Yeah. I was like, I mean, there's no internet. So what do you mean? They're like, no, but all aircrafts have internet. And I was like,
Wow.
I'm like, how can you just say that?
Can you throw that out there?
And then it sort of became clear to me that he doesn't really
know.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. When you were talking about the relationship with the operator,
Yeah.
so most of my work experience, I worked on the operator side.
Nice.
And I would get sometimes, how some clients would shop around the requests.
Oh,
so
many.
I would get the request from like 4 or 5 brokers. But one of them is actually my friend or somebody I worked with. We have a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah.
I call him. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to not quote everybody. I'm going to quote everybody. But I quoted you $5,000 less. Go close it. Let's win some business together. And with this, so I gave him this gap where he's going to make this much money instead of the others. But next time he will come to me directly for any booking. That's it. He's going to be like, okay, you know what? Iyad's been responsible. He had helped me out.
Yeah.
And I would rather give him the business just like he made me won the business. Yeah.
So that happens, of course, that happens. Like I said, people work with people. So once you have a nice relationship with the supplier, so you will become the supplier's preferred partner as well. You're like, you know what, rather than closing with somebody else, let me just close it with him, because I know he will manage if there is any hiccups from the client side.
Right.
He will manage everything. He'll relay the information to us. We'll make the arrangements. Smooth sailing, everybody.
Beautiful.
Sweet and simple. But if the double brokerage, cool, no problem, brilliant. I understand. It happens a lot. Till double, it's fine.
Triple.
Then the moment it becomes more than 2,
yeah,
the chain is endless. It can be like this, that one broker is connected with the operator. Great, brilliant, sorted. You are connected with the
client.
Great.
Beautiful.
You both want to make money. I have done deals like that as well. And there was a time there was 3 people involved, and that's fine. It was a bit of a circus, but it's okay, because everybody was connected somehow.
And maybe transparent as well with each other.
And transparent. Recently, it happened with one of our common friends, Adnan. So we were sitting and somebody reached out to him. Same person reached out to me. Same person reached out to Marwan. Same person is reaching out to everybody. So I have that habit. So I just message out, like, I always do that. I like, if you have reached out to somebody, please let me know.
Right.
So then, for example, because we don't have small jets yet, by the way. So we don't have small jets. So I will broker it for you. Okay. Right. But if you have reached out to somebody, so I'm not going to look like a fool reaching out to the same person. He goes like, Rez,
I received
23 people have already sent it to me. So I messaged, and coincidentally, we were all having dinner that day. so I go like,
the messages at the same time.
4 of us sitting over there on the same table, and we looked at it. So I asked, like, who else have you reached out? Nobody, bro. The client is with me. I said,
oh, I hate that.
I was like, it's okay. I was like, it's fine. It's okay. I was like, no, sorry. It's man. I told him straight about, like, we don't do small aircrafts. If you have something big, please let me know. Yeah.
So honestly, for me, I never closed the deal with more than 2 brokers involved in the broker chain.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Whenever there's a 3rd broker, first of all, the prices now went up to out of budget, out of reasonable pricing. Communication is very slow between the client talking to you and you're talking to a broker, and the broker telling the other broker, and the broker getting the information from the operator. And it
takes forever.
And now the circle is back. And so with 2 brokers, usually I don't call it double brokering. I say collaborating, because I'm so against double brokering. We were talking about it in the podcast with Aryan, It's like if somebody's talking to you, he's like, "Yeah, I have this jet for you, and what's the ASD? Can you share the AOC? No. So what's going on?"
Yeah.
And they act like as if they are operators.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, no, that's not how I work. You can disclose for like let's split the commission. I have no problem, but let's be transparent. I'm not gonna put my client on a plane that I don't know who's operating it.
Correct.
Operating under Part 91 or 135.
Yes.
What kind of insurance?
Many people don't know this as well.
Yeah, the Part 91.
Yeah. So Part 91 is private flights. You cannot do revenue flights on them. You want to tell us Part 135?
135. The aircraft has to be on the certificate, has to go through a lot of more maintenance. The crew duty time is different. It's more expensive to operate just because, we have all these, regulations and things like that. But yeah, it's funny that a lot of people. So yes, I'll tell you this. Actually, this happened a week ago. A broker reached out to me because we're admins on the WhatsApp group.
Right.
So he was like, "Iyad, I want to tell you something." I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "So I got removed from other WhatsApp groups." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Are you gonna remove me?" I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Because I was talking to an aircraft manager,
Right.
and he told him he has those empty legs. Sell it for me, and I'll give you commission."
Okay.
And the poor guy, he doesn't understand the difference between Part 91 and 135. And he goes out promoting it on the groups. And then they called him out on the tail number. They were like, "What's the tail number?" He shared the tail number. They were like, "This is Part 91. Get out of the group." And he was like, "Yeah, are you going to kick me out too?" I'm like, "No, brother. Look, but please, and learn the industry. Educate yourself."
So he just shot himself in the leg by not doing his research.
True. Yeah, and honestly, this is part of the vision of IABI. I want to bring that in.
Yeah,
is that as a broker, there's a lot to understand and to learn, and just one mistake like this, it will cost you a lot of business because in the WhatsApp groups, we make a lot of business in the WhatsApp groups. This is how brokers and operators are closely communicating with each other.
Yeah.
Now that he's got out of these WhatsApp groups that we have, it's like he cut off the business. And hopefully, I mean, like, try to elevate the industry because a lot of Part 91 flights happen, and it's like it doesn't show until something happens, and when that something wrong happened, it just collapses the whole house of cards.
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, this happens a lot in various regions. Obviously, naming them wouldn't be very nice, but you have come across them. I have come across them when I was doing ground handling.
Oh yeah, of course.
So
you guys are.
Yeah, so back in the day when I was doing ground handling, and I would see these requests. Yeah, principal on board. Or the principal's friends.
Of course, principal
man,
friends.
no,
it's always
this
the friends.
It's always, yeah. So those were obviously Part 91 aircrafts doing revenue flights, clearly. So I'm like, wow, this happens as well. Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna name the regions, but yes, man. I kind of noticed it. But we were talking about reputation.
Yeah.
Have you give us scenarios how brokers actually lost their reputation of the things that they actually did or how they conducted business?
Selling aircrafts which are non-existent. That happens a lot.
Can you give us an example of something you've witnessed?
Yes, I did. And that's when, I was the one who provided a solution, came up with an aircraft. Because some broker sold an aircraft and now payment has been done. Aircraft is not there. And now they're hunting for another aircraft in the market. And the query comes to me. That's where I told you that there were three brokers involved. So one reached out to the other reached out to me. So ended up finding him an aircraft. Of course, it was a very tricky flight because the first payment which was done, now the client said, okay, no problem. It's AOG. We'll find another aircraft. It's okay. But you need to refund the money first. I'm not going to pay X amount again.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, I'm sitting $500,000 short. So they kept on delaying this is what was not nice. So they kept on delaying the refund, and were trying so hard to find out which aircraft I was arranging it from. They eventually did, and they reached out directly to the owner, and the owner said, I've already sold this. The only way this flight is happening is through him.
Wow.
So that's where I had a good relation with the owner of the aircraft, and he protected me, right? If he wanted, he could have sort of, given that X discount and gone directly. But he was like, no. So that's where that broker, I have zero respect for that person. I'm so close to even, we guys were talking about this the other day, that we should make a list on LinkedIn and just put it out, be like, yeah, please do your due diligence on these names. Go ahead and do due diligence. So it's actually sad because you can be, like I said before, you're hustling respect.
Of course.
But there's ethics, there's moral obligation.
100%.
There is always moral obligation on you. There are unwritten rules that you need to follow. There's ethics. Nobody's going to come tell you. Yeah, be a gentleman. Don't be an idiot. Just be a gentleman. But there's people who they don't have any values, and I think that part of the ecosystem, you have to sort of embrace that.
They wouldn't stay in the business for too long.
The funnier part is that they've been in the business for a while. However, they don't have the best of reputations because they've been there. Maybe initially when they started off, they were great.
Right.
Yeah, when they started off, you're sort of young, your stuff, everything is there. You make your relations and everything. And then the same relations, because you've lost it somewhere down the line, then now the same good broker who was amazing back in the day, now nobody suddenly wants to work with that person because of his own ethics, I guess. So yeah, because these people are not young people. I'm talking about like people who are recently been kicked out from a few companies as well because of trying to sort of, you think you become bigger than the company. You're never bigger than the company you work for.
Of course.
Okay, you're never bigger than the company you work for. That you need to sort of understand. You need to be very confident in your ability.
Yeah.
Right. But you're not bigger than the company. You want to be bigger than the company? Go out and make your own.
True.
Cool. So taking decisions like, for example, it's said no taking cash.
Right.
All right. You go out just because you're desperate for the business.
You want to win the trip. Yeah.
Great, I understand. Very driven, ambitious. If it's a no, it's a no. Because you're in the UAE, you need to, if you do take cash, you need to show proof of funds. The company can get into a lot of issues. So there are people who have done silly things like that and they've ended up being kicked out for companies.
Yeah, and deserved, because like at the end of the day, these policies are in place to protect the broker,
to regulate
protect the company, to regulate. And we were talking about what things brokers don't know. Now I want to ask you a similar question. What a skill, if you had a broker right now in front of you, what skill would you teach him? Why? How?
Skill would I teach him? Unfortunately, this sounds very brash, but sales is something you cannot teach.
Right.
That in itself. What you can teach is, see, sales it's as simple. Either you're born for sales or you're not.
True.
It's that simple. There's no offense to be taken for that.
Of course.
A skill, I would say, is communication, and the style of communication. Follow-up is important. Attention to detail is key. What else? So it's a collaboration or sort of a mix of various skills. So if I just say that, yeah, focus on communication, but then you don't know ops, then what are you communicating? So
True.
You sort of have to really step up in every department. Be presentable, be well spoken. Yeah. See, English is not our first language, so you don't have to be really fluent, but as long as you get the message across.
True.
So know the technicalities, know the basics, know the pricing. So a bit of operations won't harm, a bit of sales information won't harm. So skill would be definitely self-education, I guess.
100%. That was what I was going to get to.
Self-development is very important. And the moment you're sort of self-developing, you're tapping into various different aspects and you suddenly start improving overall. So work on your research on the aircraft, on the product.
Right.
100% on the product. Know what you're selling.
Yeah. I want to double down on what you said. Yeah. Knowledge is key. And I come across some people that are some brokers that are a little bit ignorant, that they say that they know everything about aviation. what are you talking about? We learn every day.
Absolutely.
We learn every day. There's different. Every flight has a different situation, different case. Even if you do the same flight every day, you do it like Dubai,
Something will
Nairobi.
happen.
Something will happen.
Yeah.
Something different occurs, whether during the flight, before the flight, and you learn something from it, and now you can serve your customers better.
I think that's ignorance. Like they say, ignorance is bliss. So those people are not really willing to put in the effort to. They're not very switched on. They think that they've done it, and because they've done it, that gives them the liberty to have that sort of attitude. But those are the people who actually sort of end up making tiny mistakes. I don't say all of them are like that, because some of them are champions, honestly. But somewhere they might show that yes, they know everything, but in the background they're constantly
Learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they might be a bit cocky, they might be a bit arrogant, but
But
they're worth, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have the confidence as well. Like you gotta sell,
Yes.
and at the same time, as you said, like in the back end, you're actually open to learning,
Yes.
and you're just observing from everywhere and asking the right question.
One other thing I would like to add is, if you don't know something, say, let me get back to you.
True.
Don't just sell something. Please
True.
never do that.
True.
Don't just sell something. Just go back. It'll take you a minute. If not to the ops, go back to some broker who is you're on good relations with, or somebody who can guide you that way. So me, I don't see, a lot of the brokers have this mentality that they're sort of competing with each other. Hey, brilliant. I understand. Cool. But you also need to understand the pie is big enough for everybody to eat. The cake
True.
is huge.
True.
So collaborate rather than compete. Compete against yourself. You closed 5 flights. Next time, try to do 6.
Right.
Next time, try to do 7. I believe this is surely my opinion. I believe what is written for me, it'll come to me as long as I do my KPIs correctly. Yeah, KPIs, right? This corporate word. So
Yes. Very
if I'm,
corporate.
if I'm doing my efforts, if I'm reaching out to people, if I'm doing my follow-ups, if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do day in, day out, what is supposed to happen for me, the best will happen. Like I have had a moment that a signed contract came back. I was extremely upset.
Right.
Upset in the sense I was like sad. I was like, you know what? After putting in all this effort, contract is signed, contract comes back. Now this is where your boss, you need to have a supportive environment. This is where boss goes like, this is normal. It wasn't, there's something good behind this. Sort of when you reflect on it later on,
Yeah.
you'll understand there was something good in this. Because if you did everything right,
Yeah.
and even then nothing happened, great. Yeah, but if I was lackluster, laid back approach, not responsive, not proactive, and if then I'm losing a flight, I deserve to lose that flight.
Right. I mean, you didn't earn it.
Exactly.
Right.
As long as you do your KPIs, you make sure you have your checklist, boom, 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 done. And then you go like, what happened? Like, okay, the client now, so this wasn't from my side.
Right.
The client
Changed
decided,
their mind.
Yeah.
Or something
Yes.
happened on her side. Yeah, man. I keep agreeing with you because you're saying it on the spot, man. With sales, like you gotta keep trying, you gotta keep pushing. First of all, some people get upset when when the contract doesn't happen or something. If the money is not in the bank, if you did not receive the money in your account, it's still not executed, even if you have a signed contract. But at the same time, don't get discouraged. We're working right now to increase our fleet. All right. I'm having literally at least one meeting a day with somebody who says he has access to a global or he has access to a G5.
But they don't.
No, they don't. And sometimes I even go further. I tell them, listen, you have access to this aircraft? Give me an author. And this literally happened last week, bro. I asked him, give me an authorization letter from the owner with the tail number. But he's like, just give me an LOI. I'm like, I'm not going to give you an open LOI and then you go to the market and shop me around.
Correct.
I want you to come to me with a tail number. I'll give you an LOI with that tail number.
Yes.
And then go to your client. I will not cross you. And before you give me that letter, have an agreement with your owner. That way, and even with that, the aircraft was not, like, it couldn't go through. And It is what it is, man. We're gonna keep. I still do it. Like I'm telling you, like for the last 6 months, I'm talking. Sometimes, and we're in Dubai,
Right.
and most of our fleet and our AOC is in the US.
Right.
So my meeting starts at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and we're still doing it, and after 70 meetings, maybe one aircraft lease is coming through. And alhamdulillah, it's good. It's good money, but you gotta keep trying.
The
you
effort,
gotta keep.
yeah. You have to be consistent. You have to be persistent as well. Like for example, like this is just surely my personal approach, sales approach. That if you do reach out to somebody on the brokerage side, right? You reach out to somebody. Don't be too pushy, because you need to understand that. Do we like taking sales calls? We don't. Let's be very honest.
Of course.
But you need to be slightly smart in the way you do it. So reach out to somebody. Don't reach out the next day, nothing has changed. Don't reach out after 1 week, nothing has changed. Give them 18 to 21 days, because psychologically it's proven that you sort of start slipping away from the mind. And then when it hits like 21 days, you sort of come back. You're like, and this time sort of you have that ability to lead the conversation, because the gentleman or whoever you reached out to, they're already so busy in their life, they don't remember you.
Right.
They don't remember. They know you said something about private jet. So when you reach out to them and you go like, oh yes, you had inquired about a private jet. Like, did I? I'm quite sure I didn't. I'm like, yeah, but your name is on the system.
Somebody has inquired.
Somebody has inquired on your behalf. Would you be open to like, can I have like 30 seconds, 40 seconds of your time?
Smart.
So, but also research goes in. So I'm very boring that way. So I do a lot of research. So before reaching out to a client, I'll sit down and open their socials, and I will see what they like, what they don't like, if they like bananas or they like apples. I can't sit and sell oranges to somebody who doesn't like oranges.
Right.
So if you like F1, I need to know when the next F1 is taking place.
To bring that up. Yeah, these are the key points
you
that
need to
you want
know,
to use in the
see what he wears. Is he wearing an expensive watch? Look up jewelry exhibitions. Look up new watch launches. Look up something. What's happening? What's happening around? Does he like horses? Is he into equestrian? What is it? Does he do hunting? Is he into falcons? You have to be switched on.
Right.
You have to be switched on. You need to have a keen eye to understand what you're looking for. And then suddenly he likes talking to you because you're speaking
his language.
You're speaking his interest.
Right.
You're speaking his interest. So it's like that. So it feels more natural to him to communicate with you rather than you communicate
selling
with him.
him.
So you're not selling to him.
No, you're talking to him. And I'll add to that, a trick I use, like especially if it's a politician or a CEO or something, any achievements, anything they received in the past couple of weeks or something, I would actually use it as a reason to call them. Be like, hey, I heard you won this award. Congratulations. This is Iyad. Remember me? You requested private jet from us and stuff like that. But also family, when I see their family members, I can understand, family is very important to us as humans. And I would bring up family, anniversary. Every time I call on the anniversary, I call on the birthday, I call on
Do you know, this is so nice because I have very similar approach in the sense that we have these databases now online, right? And obviously I'm not going to name the databases, but I came across this one database and it cost like a lot. The granular research I saw on that, I ran a demo on it for a week.
Okay.
Known associates, interests.
Wow.
If they've done all that. And this is why is it highly paid? Because it's, I wouldn't really say confidential if it's available, but it's like a private members club.
Wow, beautiful.
It's like a private members club. Very exclusive.
And verified, probably. Verified.
Exactly, verified. So obviously the people who I've worked with, and I told the guy, I was like, yeah, can you put in this name? Bang, puts down the name, and I can see all the known associates and everything. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is
beautiful.
Like a gold mine. So I'm actually this close to buying that data.
There you go, for yourself.
Yeah, for myself. But yeah, it costs a lot.
It's worth it. But honestly, even if you have that list, without the sales skills,
absolutely,
without the research,
soft skills, you need to know how to communicate. You need to gauge the person. For example, you fly private. Iyad flies private. I call him, and he just got out of a bad meeting. Man, my call is going so wrong with you. big. So you need to really gauge the situation. Like you can't just pick up the phone and start selling. No.
Right.
You first sort of understand, is the guy even in the mood to speak to you? If I call him like, oh yeah, hi, yeah, how are you, blah, blah, and then you're like, yeah, what is this regarding? Like a private jets, not interested. Bang. Like, go ahead. But he flies private.
And you lost them.
Yeah, because wrong timing
Wrong time.
or something. You see, if there's cold voice, you should be smart enough to pick it up and ask permission first. Be like,
is it a good time?
Is it a good time? Like, yeah, no, I'm in the middle of something. Cool. Don't call him again next day. No. Let him simmer down. Yeah, let him simmer down. That's where follow-up plays a big role.
That's great, man.
Follow-up plays a big role. I know it's very boring. It's very, very boring maintaining those CRMs and follow-ups and stuff. But you need to understand, like Mike Tyson said, you have to do the boring stuff in order to actually reach to a spot where you have that freedom.
Right.
So, people don't understand. They see one thing and they take it out of context. But the main point is that you reached where you are today, Iyad, mashallah, because you've consistently gone through something which nobody has seen.
Right.
And then one day you get to hear, oh, Iyad is so lucky. You're like, excuse what? Wait, lucky?
But you didn't see the back end of all the struggles and the ups and downs.
Usain Bolt, right? Fastest runner in the world.
Uh-huh.
How much screen time do we have? I think 2 minutes, 70 something seconds or 3 minutes, something, bare minimum.
True.
How many minutes has he run behind the scenes in order to
get to that 2 minutes?
Exactly. So you have to really be patient, be consistent in what you do. It might be boring. Not everybody can just become a CEO. No.
Of course not.
So you need to really keep grinding with positive intent. Tom Hardy said, intention, motivation, and passion. You put these three things together, you'll reach somewhere. So have good intention, keep that passion. Nobody's coming to give you that passion. It should be within you. There's zero. Motivation is great, blah, blah, blah. Motivation doesn't help. Discipline helps.
100%.
Because discipline is going to create that habit, and habit is going to create consistency.
So, motivation will go away sometime.
Oh, motivation.
So what, you're going to stop working? You're going to start trying?
If we depend on motivation, you will not reach anywhere.
There you go.
I understand it sounds very, very rude, but I'm not being rude. It's just that motivation it's great. But you can't depend on motivation. You have to depend on discipline.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so while we wrap this beautiful episode, I want to know what are your thoughts about private aviation? How's it going? How's the industry evolving right now?
I think the consumer is more aware. So the operators and the brokers, of course, they need to take that into consideration, that you should not provide misinformation, number one. Number two, mashallah, because the economy is growing, especially in the region where we live. We've been blessed that way. So private aviation is going up. Absolutely. Cargo is booming. Absolutely. There is so much development happening in Africa. It's a very underrated market. I've always said I'm a big fan of the African market because there's so much money over there. There's so much movement over there. Along with the money and movement, there's a lot of misinformation over there. So a lot of the clients, they think private aviation is out of their reach. While on the same hand, there are pastors in Nigeria who have 4 private jets.
Right.
Okay. so there's a lot of misinformation. But yeah, private aviation is definitely booming. It's a great industry which is growing. People are evolving. Along with the industry, I always tell, like, if you step in even now, people say that many people throw around comments such as, the UAE market is stagnated. I was like, boss, do you know where the biggest market is? It's US. More than 60, I think almost 60% private jet movement happens in the US. And then everywhere else in the world.
True.
Now, a market like that, and a market like this, you're saying that Dubai or the UAE or the Middle East is becoming matured? I think no, there's way more which will happen. Like, small example. There's a huge gap in the market in the GCC where there's no super mid jet.
Right.
or super light, sorry.
Super, yeah. It's all
the-
heavy.
It's all
super
heavy
mid,
or ultra long
ultra
range jets.
long, yeah.
But now there are, wealthy people who still want to fly private, but they don't really want to hop onto a G650 for 20, I think half an hour or to 1 hour flight down to Saudi or to Qatar or to Bahrain.
Of course.
They just want a small jet, and there's only two operators who actually have small jets. One is too expensive. Their office is in the next building. I think you know them as well. So there's another one. There's another operator. But the thing is that they have the rollover aircraft. So it's obviously, I'm not going to take names, but that's the limitation. So God forbid now if I have a flight, now the rollover, it was medical, now they need to turn into passenger. Now the technicians have left at 4 p.m. I'm losing that flight. I'm losing that flight. So yes, there's a huge market, gap in the market for, let's say, light jets or, super light jet, because nobody really has them right now. Of course, it doesn't take away the luxury, because many people also have this misconception that private jets are only luxury. What they need to understand is that more than 70% of private flights is business.
Of course. True.
More than 70% of private flights.
Efficiency. Buying you time.
Exactly.
And especially with those routes, these are short flights. Like, and it's if it's me and flying with 3 of my partners or something, what we need a global for?
We had a great flight. Actually, I'll tell you 2 flights. One happened in Turkey. They picked up a singer. They went to another city. They had like multiple stops. They went to 2 places, signed a contract, and came back. Okay. Surely business. Another very interesting flight was from the UK. There's a huge shipping company. The CEO flew from the UK to China to sign a contract. We had to send crew because there was tech stop.
Yeah, to swap.
Exactly. And same on the way back. He went a 16, 18-hour flight for a 4-hour meeting on ground and then came back.
Yeah.
So people need to understand that, yes, private aviation is luxury. Absolutely. I'm not taking anything away. Lewis Hamilton has his own aircraft. Cristiano Ronaldo has his own aircraft. You see these Hollywood stars, Johnny Depp, etc., etc. I think Johnny Depp has a global. Cristiano has a global as well. So these stars, yes, because they have it for the freedom and privacy, number one, security as well. So it has very little to do with how it's rather promoted.
Right.
That, oh yeah, because you're rich. Yes, the rich, they do travel private. Yes, but you also find rich people traveling first class. I have a client, when he travels alone, he travels first class. He's very okay with it.
Right.
When he travels with family, he'll get a jet. Yeah. When he travels with family, he'll be like, yeah, I'll just get a jet. No problem.
No, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Rez, my brother, I really appreciate you for coming to the podcast. This was a great episode. A lot of new and senior brokers are going to learn from this and learn from your experience. I really appreciate your time for coming.
My pleasure. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, brother. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for watching this episode. If you like the content that we produce, we appreciate your support by subscribing and following on our social media accounts. And we look forward to see you on the next episode.